see what Liam's reaction is to the Danchee. See if he likes the Danchee. If these are good, we may end up running Liam and Sophie one of these.
Whoa! He's cool.
Well, my first thoughts on it is it looks way cooler than I expected, honestly.
They had gold wheels.
Those are cool, aren't they?
Whoa.
I'm finally done making y'all wait and guess what was in the box. This was it. Nobody guessed the Ridgerock. Somebody did guess the Everest 10, and I meant to pick one of those up as well. I went by the hobby shop, and they didn't have any in stock. I had already ordered this because most of the time nobody has this. So I had ordered this from Amazon. It was $109. So what you get out of this for $109 is just insane to me. You can see it has four-wheel steering. Okay. It looks really cool. I mean, for what it is. It's a motor on axle, which means it has a motor in the rear, motor up front, so you don't have any drive shafts. So you can get all that flex. Tons of travel there. The main reason I picked this up, honestly, is for the kids. I wanted to try this out and see if it would be a good option for them, because last summer we would go to the creek quite a bit, and they would play in the creek for a little bit, and then they wanted to crawl. And I basically run all of my crawlers off of one or two radios usually. So, like, I would just have to give up whatever I was using and, you know, let them run it for a little bit. And so I thought this may be a good option for them. And, you know, there's a ton of videos on this thing, but we can at least get my take on it, see how it holds up for the kids, and see if, you know, it's good all around. Just looking at it, what you get for the price, I'm definitely already going to recommend it for any brand new, you know, kid to the hobby or whatever. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a really good crawler for the price. And that's important to understand. I mean, it's not a $300 rig. It's nowhere near, it's $100. So, for it being hobby grade, technically, at that price is pretty insane to me. The only thing I'm not 100% sure about is if these motors go out, it may be kind of hard to change that motor because of the way that case is built around it. So we may pull some of that stuff apart and kind of see what we're working with in there just to get an idea. But overall, this thing's pretty insane. Let's plug it in and I'll kind of show you what you get. You know, some of the things, a lot of the videos I've seen is people apparently have no clue about crawling because, you know, it's got super soft tires. No, it don't. These are really hard. I don't even think it has a foam in there. I'm sure it probably don't. They're vented, but they are really hard. Like, I don't expect much out of these tires, but, you know, I didn't expect it to come with great tires either. The body is pretty flimsy. It don't look half bad, but you can see even when it's on here. Normally I run these pins this way because anytime you hit something, it knocks that pin out. Little tip. But you can see how the body like gives and sways. It's a super thin, probably not Lexan, just some super cheap plastic, but it looks cool, and that's what kids mostly care about. I mean, you know, Liam thought it was really cool that it had the driver and the passenger and their heads turn and all that stuff, and that's that's kind of what kids look for, honestly. So the transmitter that comes with, really cool for the price again. And I keep saying for the price. I remember way back in the day, I had this Hummer that came from Walmart just back before I got into hobby grade RCs, that had like the lights and the horn and all this stuff. Y'all probably seen it. But I mean, that thing was like $100 and it wouldn't go anywhere. So for what you're getting here, I'm going to say for the price, like over and over, I'm sure, but it really is a lot. But with the transmitter here, I thought it was really cool, super simple to change your modes. So your steering mode, you can just, I guess I got to turn it on. So it has a push right here. I was trying to flip this thing like a switch, and I figured out it's a push button. You kind of got to hold it in for a second, and then it comes on. So you can see not bad servos. They're not going to be great. But again, this is a super cheap rig. Going to be, I would think, more than enough for the kids. So your mode 1. So you can hit this button. You can see it change. Goes to mode 2, which is your 4-wheel steering. Crab walk. And then rear steer. So I just thought it was really cool that, it lights up here, shows what mode you're in, so they don't have to guess, what they're doing. And it just gets them used to playing with different options, gets their mind thinking, like when they're crawling, if they get in a spot, hey, I might be able to, use my 4-wheel steering or something. So I think that's a really cool feature for a kid to have. And it just really gets their mindset working as far as how to crawl in different ways. And 4-wheel steering is just cool anyways, especially because sometimes they get in those spots where they're going to need to turn tight, so that'll come in handy. But overall, like, the slow crawl on it is pretty dang good. Can you crawl slow with it? Can you go real slow with it? Let me see how slow you can go forward. Oh.
No, I can go slow. I can go fast back.
There you go. It's got some pretty good, it'll move slowly. It's got some good throttle to it. Press it a little bit harder. Almost got a little bit of overdrive even. Honestly, I just got another RTR that was almost $600, and I don't even know if the slow crawl on it is as smooth as this. Like, it's kind of sad, but that'll be coming up. So let's just pull this body off, see what's under here, look this over a little bit. So you get this lithium ion pack, I believe it is. And I like how, the body's comes off fairly easy. Battery's really simple to put in there. You're not fighting, like, trying to get it in this little slot and stuff, because with kids, they're going to run it for 5 minutes and then they're going to shut it off and then they're going to turn it back on and then they're going to whatever. So, like, being able to get to the battery pretty easily is nice. And the fact that you get a 1500 lithium ion pack, I mean, nothing comes with a battery anymore. So that's pretty good. And I would figure a 1500 pack on this, you ought to get 30 minutes or so, just guessing, depending, how much they're running it. But I don't see this pulling a ton of power, but it does have some decent speed to it, and I think it's going to have okay torque. It's all plastic, it's kind of cheapish feeling plastic, just being honest, these links, it does feel like kind of Walmart grade plastic. So don't expect like amazing quality, but I'm still amazed that they can put this thing together for $100. You got 2 servos, 2 motors, actual bead lock wheels. So these are bead locks. So you can change out your wheels and tires. So it's not just some fake bead lock that you can't do anything with. The hex wants to stick in the wheel, and then the pin comes out. So if you take your wheel off, be prepared to lose this pin. But look in here, it does have a bearing there. So that's what it looks like. I'm pretty sure it's got bearings. So that's really good. Most things come with bushings when they're this cheap. I'm sure I know it's all plastic gears in there. Not a huge deal. I think they're pretty cheap if you need to replace them. And that's the other thing. This versus like something from one of the big box stores. You can't get parts for those things. And a lot of people don't know that. Even a lot of the stuff that's on Amazon, Banggood, Wish, whatever, that stuff that's like that you've never heard of, nobody's ever heard of. You can sometimes get a decent deal, but if you break something, like there are no parts. So with this, you can get parts for this. One thing as far as parts go, I wanted to show this because this is kind of important for especially a beginner or somebody, maybe just getting into the hobby. Maybe you want to try crawling with your buddies. You don't know if you're really even going to care for it or if you're going to go very often or whatever. So you're just new to the hobby. You pick this up, just try it out, or you grab it for your kids, whatever. This manual. Okay, let's just scroll through here. It has pretty detailed, very detailed, really good manual. And let's get back here to what I'm wanting to get at here. Look at the parts, the exploded views. You can always usually Google whatever truck exploded view and get this info. But this is super simple. It's color coordinated to show different parts. So if you don't know what you need, it's so simple to find. If you need this gear, it's R5612. It's that gear. And that's what you get. It's just super simple. Look at this. Every part. They break it down. And, a lot of companies do this. Most of them are not color coded like that. So that's kind of showing me that they put a little effort into this. Did a little extra work. Because let me show you what else we have here. So if you've watched this far into the video, you get to know my next RTR motor on axle, okay? I went on a motor on axle kick. So I picked up the Bully 2. So if you watch this far into the video, you'll know what's coming. But look at this manual, all right? First off, all this stuff, why do we even need all this? I guess they got to put it in there or whatever. Electronics, not very thrilled with those electronics, but I knew they were going to suck. I plan on taking them out. I just bought the RTR because I don't have time to build a kit. And I didn't want to spend a bunch of time building a kit on this thing if it's junk. I have never been impressed with RC4 drive 10 scale stuff. I have a buddy that got one and was definitely not impressed with it, Jake. So, you know what's up. But I had to try this thing. But I just wanted to show, nowhere in it is there any kind of exploded view. It has optional parts and spare parts list. That's it. There's nothing, okay? And, you know, I don't need it, but the fact that this is a $600 rig and they can't take the time to put something like that in there. This thing's $109. And look at the effort they put in there. And maybe it's because they know, you know, more of a beginner rig, you need that stuff. But it is nice. Like, I don't know what every part number to this thing is, so I'm going to have to look it up online if I break something, and chances are I'm not going to be able to get it anyways because RC4 Drive, everything's always sold out or on back order. You never see it in stock. So I'm hoping that thing don't break, but I had to try it out. So anyways, that's that. And this does come with a charger for the battery. You got some clips for preload adjustment on the shocks. These little clips here, just clip them on the shocks. And it stiffens them up a little bit. You got an extra servo arm, it looks like, for each front and rear there, and a wheel wrench also. So quite a bit of extra stuff in there. That's pretty cool. I looked on eBay. That's where I get a lot of stuff just because I don't have a hobby shop right here near me. The closest one's a little over an hour away, so I order a lot of stuff. I wish I had a local shop to support. That's one of my goals in the future is to put us in a shop. So maybe that'll happen someday. But anyways, the parts, you can get them. So that's a major plus because kids, things are going to break. Every RC breaks. And so you can't fix it. But, you know, with these, like I said, you have the bead locks. I haven't pulled these apart. You just pull these screws and then, you know, that ring's going to come right off. So, I mean, they're very similar to like what comes on the Everest, I guess. I don't have an Everest, but it reminds me a lot of my old RS10 that I do still have. So, it's similar to that. It is plastic. This is just a shiny plastic. So, you know, not metal bead locks, but of course. But overall, like, I was just amazed when we pulled this out of the box. And this is kind of just a first impression. I'm hoping we're going to get some runtime in with this here in a few days. Just wanted to kind of give my first thoughts on it. Let you guys know what was in the box. I do have some more exciting stuff coming. So, you know, keep an eye out. I was pretty excited about this, though, to be honest. When we got it out of the box, I mean, me and Liam took it in the house and was crawling on stuff and crawling up the couch and this and that. And so it's pretty cool. It has, you know, all your ball joints are metal, even here and on your shocks and stuff. So that's a big plus. And, I mean, look at the flex this thing has. It's just crazy. I mean, honestly, I could see putting a decent set of tires on it and probably getting quite a bit of performance out of it. So maybe something they could grow with also. I'm sure we'll end up putting some kind of tires on it just because I have a bunch laying around. So maybe we'll see what we can get out of it for a little bit of extra, you know. But my main thing, like I said, I wanted to find something cheap that the kids could use because if it holds up decent, I've got to buy 2 of them. So, for this price, it's got to be hard to beat. But anyways, we will get some runtime in on it. Hopefully coming this week. I have some days off coming up. And if it's halfway decent weather, we will definitely get some running in. We got a crawl planned coming up this week, hopefully, with a bunch of us. And so we'll get some running in on this and see how it does. these shocks seem pretty dang good for what they are. I mean, that's pretty good. I haven't pulled these apart to see if they actually have any kind of oil in them. I don't know. But we'll maybe dive into this more later and see. Kind of want to see how it holds up and just go with it. And then maybe if you guys are interested, we can dive more into it. If not, I mean, it's a super cheap starter rig. And so I don't know how much interest there is in it. But for me, it was really cool to see what they put together at the price point. So anyways, if you guys want to know anything about this thing, just holler. Let me know what you think. Is it going to be good for, kids 6, 8, 10? Liam's 10. He really could run a more hobby grade crawler, but his interest is not fully there yet. So there's no point in spending a ton of money on something for him when he's going to run it for 5-10 minutes and then disappear. So I thought these would be something that could be theirs and whatever. Anyways, let me know what you think. Appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that stuff. Click the bell so you get notified with these new videos. Appreciate everybody. Peace.